Let's talk about the swing for conditioning first and your application for that.
Yeah, that's. I think the swing is a brilliant choice, not only in terms of power production, but it gives folks an option to not run.
Yes.
And I hope I need to say no more. I mean, when I mean running, I mean slow trudging, long distance.
Yes.
If you can go long distance with a great stride, then you're cool.
Yeah.
I don't see people doing that. I see people falling, which activates your sympathetic nervous system because your brain thinks you're falling.
Mm-hmm.
It's money. I mean, getting into deep hip flexion, is a great proprioception in terms of recovery. And when you get great hip mobility, you get great core stability. At least you're lined up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the neck and lumbar spine have interplay. It's a fantastic, awesome technique, and it lends to repetitive movement. It is anything. Obviously, for conditioning, we probably need repetitive movements. So we need something that's fairly central to that person's performance box, and the swing is usually it. I think that we can use swings, in lieu of explosive techniques. There isn't a ton of ankle mobility in the swing. I don't care. I'll go get ankle mobility somewhere else.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to do the kettlebell swing instead of an Olympic lift. I got no argument with that. I think that's an awesome choice. It's just a brilliant move. I think if they could somehow make a bell, like a circus weight kettlebell that didn't drag on the floor for little guys like me, I'd probably be using that.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, what are some of the progressions that you use with your athletes for aerobic conditioning?
If we have a 5-day-a-week program, what we will not train for is long distance cardio.
Yeah.
I think there's enough research and common sense that if you train middle distance and short distance cardio, you will show up with a very respectable 3 to 5 mile time.
Absolutely.
Got to go over 5 miles. Okay, maybe we're talking. You got to program a little bit. But I am also interested in recovery.
Yes.
And if we put those types of training distances into our plan, especially for the guys I work with, who we can't periodize to 100% peak. We're not building up to the Olympics.
Yes.
I would like to say that we're able to keep our guys in the high 80s to low 90% at all times. So our training has to reflect that. 2 days a week we are intervals, 4 phases, 30-45, 30-30, 30-20, and 20-10.
Okay.
And we'll pick different movements. The kettlebells will be the premier choice, along with bodyweight techniques that fit the repetitive box. On days 2 and day 4, day 2 are 3 to 1,000 yard shuttles, 300 to 1,000 yard shuttles, and we'll do that for repetitions. And day 4 are intervals of 400 meters and 800 meters in the circle, whether we use a track or run around a building that we have measured out. And I think that those middle distance attempts is where we can then we must access our diaphragmatic breathing options, and that's how when whether it's RKC for the snatch test, or when you look at long distance runners from Africa that look soft, they look like they have this pudgy belly. It's because they've accessed their intraspinal stability system, and they use their diaphragm to breathe. Using their diaphragm to breathe not only gets a higher tidal volume on your breath, so you can oxygenate more. It tells your body everything is okay. Breathing is the window into the autonomic nervous system, and every negative emotion that we have, including fatigue, takes us to an apical breathing pattern. The longer we can stave that off, then the more we can stay in a diaphragmatic breathing pattern, we will be able to have more juice. Awesome. And I think you guys would agree. You don't see any Girya, going for 10 minutes that doesn't breathe that way.
Exactly.
And it's why there's not an advocacy for taking long breaks during a snatch test, because your brain it will get a couple seconds to realize, oh shit, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
You lose your breathing pattern. But hey, you want that. If you believe in the breathing pattern, you got to believe in the packed neck. I struggle to see that they're different.
Exactly. I'm a believer in that as well.
Those are what you would consider aerobic, particularly the running.
Yeah.
And now, if I'm also looking for recovery, this is really something I've learned recently from David Tenney in Seattle, that we do want aerobic. You know, we always think that everything's got to be like hit, high speed, high intensity. Well, we're getting 2 days of that.
Yeah.
But if I put out 100% an effort, let's say I'm looking for 40 kilo swings for 30 seconds. That is a maximal effort for a 200 to 170 pound male, I believe. Now, if that person shows up to that event with a higher aerobic base that we're getting on